Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to tell you about a new product from Fab Defense. If you're familiar with the rapid adjustable precision stock in the fixed version, which I've shown on the channel there on the left on my CZ457, and you'll see the new one on the right. That's the RAPS C for the carbine length buffer tube, and that one is adjustable in a lot of the same ways, but it fits on a different type of buffer tube and many systems that people are going to really enjoy. I have it on my 18-inch precision AR. If you've watched my channel, you probably saw that I did a review on the full length or the fixed version on a CZ457, and I went over a couple of features, and here's what I really like about it. And this is going to be true of both models. The length of pull as well as the cheek riser are adjustable with one single mechanism. And that single mechanism is spring tension. You just find the right channel for both the cheek riser and the length of pull, and it snaps right into place, which makes it extremely easy when you're going to run a brush down the barrel and clean the bore out. It's easy just to snap that thing back in. There's a place for a monopod or a bag rider on the bottom, a little bit of Picatinny there, and then there's that adjustable preset dial, which allows you for the length of pull to have the same position every time you unlock the spring tension. So I had this on my 18-inch precision AR, at least I'm building it out to be a precision AR, and I decided to take off the fixed one because I really like the idea of throwing on the carbine length. I do have a carbine length buffer on that AR. There's a little comparison, and here's a close-up of the RAPS C. This is the new model, and I think this is going to sell really well. I think this is something a lot of people like. Not everybody's into the fixed length or the rifle length fixed stocks. Not everybody loves that kind of thing. Some people want the ability to keep their package very, very small, and that's what this allows you to do. In fact, you can reduce the footprint on this so fast. You can make it very, very small. You could push it all the way in with that one spring and then condense it on your actual buffer tube itself and make the whole rifle package very small. I really like the way that it looks, and I think it's a very, very slick product. So I went ahead and I threw it on. There's an Allen screw there to just tighten it up and shore it up. Fits on like a regular stock, and I think it looks really good, guys. One of my favorite looking stocks actually that is produced anywhere on the market right now. I immediately took it out to 200 yards and started playing around with it. This is a rifle that I'm pretty familiar with, and I have a lot of understanding of how the rifle should perform, and so a new stock, a new comfort level, it was something for me to assess and find out, is this changing anything for the better or the worse? And I'm glad to say that this stock allowed me to maintain the precision I was seeing, and so it didn't necessarily make anything better, except for the fact that there is technically more adjustment. There's more feature available here because I can push it in, I can make it go closer to the optic if I need to, or further away, and I could even increase the amount of length of pull overall because of that feature. One quick note about installation: you can see that you kind of lift the post like many stocks to get it over and then onto your buffer tube itself, and then there's little channels or position settings on most of your carbine length buffer tubes, and you can move it backward and forth. And actually on your device itself, you don't need to lift the entire post each time like I'm doing right there. You don't need to lift the whole post. That's mostly for installation or taking it off completely. If you just want to move it back and forth, there's some finger grooves right there. That's all you have to do. Moves really nicely, and it depends on how tight you have that Allen in that first QD location right there. There's an Allen internally there that kind of changes the tension. The butt pad itself is very grippy. It's actually one of the best features of the stock. I really like it. It doesn't slip off my shoulder, and it's adjustable. It can go up or just be flush, and I like to have mine up on each one of my rifles where I have this installed. I have 3 Fab Defense stocks, believe it or not. I like to have them up a little higher because I find it just makes better contact with my shoulder, and especially in the winter time when I wear a coat or some slippery material, I like to have that thing up kind of closer to the line of sight or closer to the optic, or the kind of straight back in line with the bore. I like to push that thing up just a little bit, and it really does the trick for me. Again, it's very grippy. It helps keep in the pocket, doesn't slide out, and there's plenty of comfort there if you're shooting this like maybe on a 308 or something like that. Now let's talk about that bag rider. That bag rider portion, even though I don't have an actual bag rider attached to this, I have the Picatinny covered with the provided cover. It's just a piece of plastic. That actually slides really nicely on a bag, and so I used a flat bag for this just to show you how low I could go with this, because a lot of people with ARs do. They're maybe going to run a 20 rounder with a precision AR. and they're going to go pretty low on that bag, and so they just want to slide it across their bag. And so I was engaging a couple different targets here at 200 yards, and this actually works really well as it is. I don't plan to buy an extra bag rider for it. I'll tell you that these are my favorite stocks, whether you go with the fixed version and the full length buffer tube there, or if you go with the RAPS C. I think you would actually be really happy with either of them. For me, with the 18-inch and the AR, I think I'm going to stick with the RAPS C. I really like this new one. It does a lot of things for me. But on my rifles, like that 22 right there, I will stick with the fixed version. I think the AR community is looking for an affordable version, and this really is, it's coming in almost $50 or $100 cheaper than the competition from what I can tell. And I actually like this one a lot more, guys. I've had experience with the competition, and this one is good to go.